Okay, hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today we are going to be going through progress tracking. My name is Saba, and I am here with my um, coworker Amanda. So I'm just going to go through why we're really doing these webinars. So I'm just gonna, okay. Here we go. So our purpose, so the reason we decided to set these webinars up is to better educate and inform our customers of all the benefits and features within the EMHware platform. We know that as the fiscal year is coming to an end, many agencies are taking this time to examine the tools and processes they use to determine if there are improvements that can be made. So we're here to show you some of the ways that EMHware can help improve efficiencies and workflows, and in turn, help you better serve your clients. So like I said, today is the progress tracking day, but we also have webinars going on for a couple more days. So tomorrow we have the fee for service webinar, which consists of the contract modules. Thursday, we will be going through the Chime and MHQCY. And the following Tuesday, we will be looking at the clinical modules. So the prescription writer, the OCAN, the medical administration records, and CHA. So what we have on the agenda today are the goal planning, task management, and target tracking modules. Essentially, the way this is going to work is that I will be presenting, and if you have any questions, you can put them into the Q&A chat on the bar below, and Amanda will moderate those for me. So if you have any questions that you wanted me to walk through, I kindly ask if you can just write them down, and we will go through that at the end of the demo. Okay. So I'm just going to start with goal planning. So here we have our platform. The way we get to goal planning is through the global menu. So I'm just going to scroll down to goal planning right here. And here we will find all the goals that our organization has set for their clients. So we have the date, the client, the worker, the program, the status, the reason for the status, the number of goals that we have set for the client, the number that have been completed, and the percentage of those that have been completed. So again, we have our search parameters at the top in case we wanted to narrow down a search. And we also have goal planning administration, and we come here to create and map the pieces for our goals. So I'm just going to go through the client through the client file to show you how we can set a goal for a client. So here is my client, Johnny Cash. I'm going to click on the client menu and scroll down to goal planning. And here I have a list of Johnny's previous goals that I've created for him. And I'm going to hit new here. So the date automatically populates to today's date and time. And we have our client that we've already chosen, the worker, and the program. So I'm just going to pick that. We have the status. We can pick whichever one is applicable, but I'm going to keep it to in progress. We can publish in the client portal. We can add comments and attachments. And we come here to add a new goal. So again, the date populates to today's date and time. And we also have the category, so it can be a treatment, behavioral, dietary, or safety goal. I'm going to make this a dietary goal, and I'm going to set the priority to high. So the goal, we can write anything really, but for Johnny, I'm going to say we want to reduce sugar intake by 75%. I can change the status of this goal, but I'm going to keep it to in progress. We have the status date, the status reason, and we can add any comments about the status as well. So we can create an action plan for this goal. So I'm going to create a new action. I'm going to say by next week, he has to stop having ice caps for breakfast. And that has been assigned by me, so I'm going to make myself the assignee. I can add an assigned other, and here we have the completed portion. So we can add multiple goals. So for the week after, I'm going to say he has to have drink 8 cups of water a day. And for the final goal, I will tell him to stop eating processed foods. Okay. So once I save this goal, I can actually add a new goal to this file. So maybe there's a related goal. Let's say that he has to lose 20 pounds. So this is going to be behavioral. Lose 20 pounds. Again, we can put the status date, reason, and I'm just going to add a new action for this one as well, so we can see what that looks like. So walk 10K steps per day. Okay. So I saved that. Now, once I go into his goal plans, we will see right at the bottom here that he has a goal that's in progress. So we see that he has 2 goals and that 0 of them are completed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this goal. Let's say that Johnny was doing so well that he completed this on the first day. So I can just go ahead and complete. I can add the date of completion. And I can add any comments that I want as well. So another thing I would have to do is go ahead and change the status of this goal. So since he's completed all goals, I can go ahead and click Achieved. So once I do that, I'm going to go back to goal plans here. It will let me know that one of my goals have been achieved. So I'm going to go back and complete both so you can see what that looks like. So I'm going to go to the behavioral one now. And I'm going to complete this one. Again, change the status to achieved. And in order for this entire goal to be listed as completed, I would have to go to the top here and change the status to completed. So once I go back, it will tell me that the status of this goal is completed and that both of my goals have been achieved. So this was goal planning, and this is a really beneficial module because if you may have been doing this in your case notes or case data area, and this is good because now you have a specific section for specific goals where you can create action plans. Okay, so I'm just going to move on to, I believe I'll go into task management now. So again, we can go through the global menu. I'm going to scroll down to task management. Okay. So here we have our tasks, and they're actually color coded. So the green ones indicate that they have been completed. The red ones are overdue, and I'm just trying to find the orange and black ones, but it seems that we don't have those. So orange means that they're due, and the black ones are upcoming. So if we had an example of that, but that's fine. Again, we have our search parameters at the top if we wanted to search for the task, but we have the from date, the ID number, the due date, the client, the program, the type of task it is, the worker, the supervisor, the completed date, and the status. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new task in Johnny's client file again. Okay. So I'm just going to go to the far right here on his client tabs and click task. Again, we have our search parameters and we have all of the tasks that he has completed. I'm going to click new. So we have the from date that automatically populates today's date. And we have this great feature. If there's a task that you have to do, and it's in a certain amount of days, like 120 days, if you enter it right there and click enter, the due date will populate with the correct date for that. So I might not know what 120 days is. I can just enter it there. But for now, I'm just going to leave that to a week. I can pick the program, the worker, and for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to make myself the supervisor. So I'm going to, where am I? There I am. I can add any attachments, and I've already chosen my client, so it's right there. And so I'm going to pick my task type, and this is actually really cool because these are all case data forms. So if you wanted to create a task that's just empty and you just wanted to remember to do something, for example, like a follow-up, you could just create one like a contact note in the case data section, and it'll show up in here. So for example, we have a follow-up right there, and it'll just look like a contact note. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll just use an assessment tool. So I'll use the GAT7. Okay. So once I save this, there will be an email notification sent to the worker and and it'll show up on their dashboard that they have to complete a task. So once they go on their dashboard, so it's due on the 13th, if I go on my dashboard, I will see that I have a task due on the 13th. So I'm going to click on it, and it will tell me who it's for and what it is. So once I click on that, let's say that I met up with Johnny and we're just going through the GAT7 together, going to fill it out. Okay. And I'm going to authenticate and save this. So now this is going to show up on the supervisor's dashboard, and the supervisor will get an email notification where they will come and review it. And since I authenticated it, it's read-only. But if the supervisor realizes that something hasn't been completed, they can unlock. So for example, the last question has not been completed. They can unlock, give a reason as to why they're unlocking, so incomplete information, and they can make any comments that they wish. So did not answer the last question. Submit. So now this is in the workers' court. They will get the notification again. They will come to this page and see that it has not been authenticated because there's incomplete information as they did not answer the last question. So me as the worker, I'll go ahead and the next time I meet up with Johnny, I will answer the last question. I will authenticate. And so this back and forth can happen until the supervisor just gives their signature and approves. So once they authenticate and save, this will disappear from both the supervisor and the worker's dashboard. So that's task management. And this is really great for those who don't want their clients to fall through the cracks, and they can find an area in the system that will tell them which tasks they have to complete. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through the target tracking module now. Okay, so we're going to go through the global menu again, scroll down to target tracking. Again, we have all of the targets that we have created for our clients within the organization. We have our search parameters here. We have approval, we have the ID number, the client, the program, the worker, the start date, the area of focus, what the target was, the session frequency, the tracking frequency, the last score, the next due date, so when it's the next time for them to get assessed, the outcome, the target date, and the completed date. And like the goal planning module, we also have a target tracking administration where, again, we can come and create and map the pieces of our targets. So I'm just once again going to go through the client file to show you how we can create a target for the client. I'm going to go through the client menu, and find target tracking. So here we have all of the targets I have created for Johnny and our search parameters, and I'm just going to go ahead and click New. So again, the start date will populate today's date. I will give him a target date, which can be at the end of December. I'm going to pick a program, a worker, and an area of focus. So once I pick this area of focus, it's going to give me a couple of targets. I will use the Promise Emotional Distress Anxiety Parent Report. And so in the target tracking administration, we can actually create these aspects of the target right here. So we can add a description, a tracking scale, a minimum and maximum score, a scale increment, whether a higher score is better, and we can add a recommended retest frequency. So we also have an anticipated session frequency. I'm just going to keep it to 7 days, but we can edit that if we want. We can add bi-weekly, we can have a monthly, weekly, or yearly. How often I will track the target. And so once I save this, if you can see the active button isn't available right now, but once I save this, I will be able to make this target active. And once I do so, if I save it again, this will become read-only. And then I can start adding my scores. So I can just do that right here, add a score. So in this gray area over here, we can create a contact note if we wanted to. Maybe we don't have the assessment within EMHware, but we wanted to report on their assessment. So we have that right here. But we also have the assessment right at the top. And if this assessment is already in the case data, we can just go ahead and fill it out. So as I fill this out, it will be, oh, not yet. As we go through this, it will automatically populate the score to the correct score. So right there. And so we have that. If we used an assessment outside of EMHware, we can actually just do this manually. And we can just add it like that. So yeah, so I'm just going to save this. And right away, we will get a visual representation of our scoring. So this is great. So if I had another score that I wanted to add for Johnny, so let's just say, I'll just add that. We have a visual representation of our client's journey through this target. We also have the written version right here. So we have the score ID, the date, the scores. So if we made a contact note, we would have the contact ID, and we also have the case data ID here too. So I'm going to indicate what the outcome was if they're, done with the target. So we can say target met. We also have a couple options over here, but these again can be added in the target tracking administration. We have an outcome other. So if we had another outcome, we can write that here. And we have a completed date. And we can add any attachments as we wish. So once I authenticate and save that, this all becomes read-only. So that was essentially the end of target tracking as well. So this is great for those who want to track a client's journey with an assessment. But yeah, that concludes the demonstration for today.